Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the Art Review series. And today we'll be checking out the work of Alexandre or Dre Mahboubi, based in Paris, France. Fortish Prod, no idea what that is. But a freelance character designer at DreamWorks. So it's a big shot sort of guy. Pretty cool. I have seen this guy's work before. I believe this one somewhere in the past. Just looking at the brushwork, it's kind of like I can see the shape. It reminds me of that cut out filter sort of style that I've referred to in the past, but there is a lot more blending in this case. Like you see a lot more of the, like, it's not so blended that you no longer see the strokes. Like, it's still there for you to kind of see. Yeah, there is a lot more blending, so I wouldn't say it's fully like a cutout filter kind of look, or that posterized look where they segment the gradation of values or hues. There is a lot more softer, like, gradients or shifts. But let me just go through the feed here. Yeah, most of it is sort of this is there texture in the brushes? I'm not sure, but it's very minimal. I believe that they start off with a sketch and then I'm not sure if it's even the same sketch. Maybe it is, I'm not sure. Because you can see a little bit of the line work in this final sort of image. So maybe they paint a little bit on top, but they don't totally erase or try to erase these line strokes here. But it looks more like a sketch or a quick concept, but it's very like finished looking, just because there's a lot more like blending in the face. Like, it feels more volume. What? Like, it has more volume, or 3D, right? And it's not as flat, right? Let me see this. So we have a quick process here, a quick breakdown. So line work, it's fairly clean, right? I'm not sure if this is their like first try. Maybe it is, but after that, some grayscale, like, when you do this sort of thing, this grayscale sort of coloring, in a way, you're also masking it, because you're gonna have to sort of separate the body from this coat, from the pants. So you're kind of solving two things at the same time. Number one, you're figuring out like the general value of something, like how light or how dark something is in grays, but also you're already masking the segments of the body or the subject. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, right? And then a quick jump in the right hand side. Yeah, this one is a lot more painted, but it's not too cluttered. I mean, even the way the coat is rendered over here, like, you see a bit of like blues and yellows. Like, there are some subtle hue shifts. It looks a lot more natural when you have a couple of more hues kind of involved. It can't be too saturated, though. It has to be somewhat in the same value range as the other colors for it not to stand out. But if you just add these subtle shift in hues with a similar value to everything else, it just adds a bit of that life to it. And maybe even a little bit of realism, right? Because in real life, it's not like a solid color. It's going to involve a lot of different colors that's being affected by, multiple light sources, the environment, and stuff like that. But I do notice, for example, for the anatomy, it's not like they're so complex where they try to make it so detailed. Like, for example, this knee, they could have like sculpted this more, but you don't have to, And I think that's a trap when you're trying to paint. Like you feel, or I feel like when you paint, it has to be like you have to have a solid detailed drawing kind of underneath. But you can have paintings where it's a bit more, stylized, simplified, but at the same time, it has and can have a little bit of that realistic vibe to it. Yeah, I think the realism is coming mostly from the way it's rendered or painted. Lots of hue shifts, lots of subtle like value changes here and there. But when it comes to like the anatomy or the shape sort of language, that's where you can see a little more sort of playfulness there, right? So let's find some more stuff. Is that Chun-Li? Wait, it's Cook Lee? And Jordan, what? No idea. But yeah, I've seen this one before too on Pinterest a couple of times. Okay. So they do spend some time drawing at first in pencil, kinda. Although done digitally, right? Oh wow. And then from there, yeah, they still leave in the drawing in the final image. So I think they're trying to go for a mixed media look for this one. But yeah, the way they render the values, I do like it. It's very... I do like how they have a toned background, sort of painting in the lighter values on top of this darker brown color or value in the back. It reminds me of a lot of like pastel paintings or drawings or sketches. But yeah, this school of leaving in those pencil marks and combining it with this more painterly like strokes, it's cool. And I think leaving things unfinished or just incomplete, it's not always a bad thing. It can add a certain character or vibe to your pieces. It does feel a lot more artsy that way. Because, people notice this, that sketches tend to have a lot more attention than fuller paintings, but I think you can do both with this one. Like, you're giving yourself the opportunity to paint something like in detail a bit more, but at the same time, you still have the energy of the sketch, and you do that by just not painting everything. You just paint like the main focal point, and then everything else you sort of leave as somewhat sketchy, or it kind of fades out to like less areas of detail. Pretty cool. Let me just check this one out. These ones are a lot more sketchy. I do see they're not using pencil, but like an ink, a very black but very thin sort of pen for this one. And the light source, the light source is coming from above, this one from below. And so some Vikings. So these are some quick character concepts. You know what? I think I would recommend the work of Xutunzi and Hugh. Xutunzi and Hugh. Heuuu. Because they have quite a bit of character sketches that kind of look like this. And I think you would... Oh! There's another one named Liana. I think she's Russian or something. Liana. Anna something. Liana. Anna something. ... Yeah. But I don't think she posted it on her ArtStation. I think it's on her Instagram, I think. So this is more of a finished painting. It's more conceptual. Like there's some kind of narrative going on here. Oh, quick sketch. initial sketch and then they painted it. I think they do sharpen the image in the end. I'd also see a little bit of noise added to as a filter. Yeah, the colors are not too bright. The brightest thing here would have to be like the top part of this person's head, right? The floating sort of... I think that's a tail or a fish tail or something. I'm not even sure if she's like alive or dead, but even like these floating like leaves, you know, where frogs kind of leap from. They look interesting just because you have a bunch of strokes in there, some purple, some greens. By the way, they're like complementary colors, or kind of greens and purples. Because purples, they're closer to the reds, right? So it does kind of complement green pretty well. Yeah. I'm thinking of another guy. They also do a lot of like these types of they're finished illustrations, but they have a lot of narrative in their work. Let me just find their name because I have it written down somewhere. Oh, it's Adrian Bush. I'm not sure if I've done a review of the guy, but I think he would be a good guy to study as well. Adrian Bush. Raging Bull. Now for these ones, let me just zoom in here. Ooh. Look at that. The line work is fairly loose. It's almost like a pencil sort of brush. It's very thin, not too invasive. It's actually kind of hard to see once you zoom out. Oh, but I do see some noise texture and some RGB shift effect being applied. Look at that. And look at how simple this top is, right? One gradient, the core shadows right here, some under lighting or reflected lighting coming from below, and that's it. A slight gradient here, a slight gradient here. You don't even see a lot of folds, but you can simplify a lot of things that you think can't be simplified. I think that's my takeaway from seeing these kinds of illustrations. Nice tattoo. Oh wow. She has something in the back. Reminds me of the Matrix. You know how they have to plug in their... Well, it's kind of in their head actually, in the back of their head, but in this case it's on her neck. Pretty cool. Yeah, are those lines, those sketch lines, the pencil lines, are they super perfect? I don't think so. They're a bit like ruggedy, a bit gritty, but if they're thin enough, the moment you add color, it's not going to be as noticeable or like distracting. It's going to be complementary to the rendering that you're going to apply. So maybe if you have like wavy hands or shaky hands, or you just can't force yourself to make super smooth lines, then just make the lines thinner, right? And maybe you can have better results that way. Oh, this one's more of a painting. I love it. Reminds me of another concept. I think they call themselves like a keyframe illustrator or something. Alexandre Mandradjiev. I think it's Mandradjiev something. He did a lot of like concept art for like the Avenger films, like Marvel films. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. Alexandre Mandradjiev. One of my favorite pieces of that guy is the Black Panther concept art, where there's sort of like a flare just behind or just in front maybe of the Black Panther and the characters in this forest area thing. And it just looks so freaking cool. Mandradjiev. Look at that. Oh. And look at how everything here is just shadow. Or one big shape. Look at that. Ooh. You don't even see detail here, but like your mind can fill in the information. You will see this a lot, by the way, in a Marvel comics or DC comics. Just think Superman, Batman. That's DC. Some Marvel stuff. Hulk. Just think superhero sort of comics. They're very used to knowing how to block in large areas of like this black villains, and make it look interesting, right? Because you're playing with lighting whenever you do this kind of thing, so it's always going to convey some kind of message. In this case, let me just remove the it's kind of mysterious, like you don't know, because you can't see his eyes. You're kind of like you're unsure of whether this guy is going in the right direction, because there's a bit of like an evilness there, but it's a quiet kind of evilness. So you will see this a lot in like comics where they employ a lot of these black large areas of villains, or just black shapes all over. It's a great way to save time because you don't have to put in so many details, but also you have an opportunity to create a more stronger effect, right? And it can add a lot to the narrative while saving yourself time, saving yourself some drawing time, right? Because you don't have to add all of these unnecessary details. Jesus. Oh wow. I'm not sure if they're in a car, maybe. I like how the line sketch is very thin, somewhat loose. Reminds me a little bit of some coffee. I'm forgetting it. Let me just pause the video because I need to find the guy's name. I am back, so I found them. It's Ethan Lee. Like even with this thumbnail sort of cover, you will see how thin those lines are, right? And then everything else is painted sort of underneath that. But it kind of works because again, the lines are not even that thick, so it's not gonna be too invasive, right? And because it's the line work is very loose, you can sort of bear the looseness of it because it's not too noticeable because of how thin those lines are. So if you're a very loose kind of sketchy person and you just can't do lots of, you're not very meticulous when it comes to your line work, I think just make you have to make your brush size a lot smaller, and then compensate with some kind of painting approach to envision what you want to actually put out there. What? So let me just write that guy's name down. Ethan Lee. Ethan Lee. Pretty cool. And yeah, there's some very minimal texture in their work. I do think the textures you see sort of in this couch or in this leather seat is kind of like a paper texture that you just apply via some kind of layer mode. But I don't think it comes from the brush itself. So in a way, they're kind of toned back, or they're a bit more conservative when it comes to using textures. It's very sort of minimal and like hardly used, right? Very cool. I'm back. Sorry, I had to do something. Anyway, this one I do see. Well, the background is pretty much blurred, right? But everything else seems a lot more harsher. Like the edges are a lot more straight. Looks a lot more graphical, or graphic. Reminds me a little bit of the work of Michal Sawtyruk. Although Michal does a lot of environments. I mean, they have a few characters here and there, but it's mainly just environments. Michal Sawtyruk. Cool. Wait, let's see if there's more here. You know what? The anatomy, like the way Alexander draws the human figure, reminds me a little bit of Ramon Nunez. Hopefully some of you know that guy's name. Ramon Nunez. Like they sort of have this happy medium between like realistic and stylized. Although there's a slight lean towards a more cartoony or stylized kind of like a little bit of anime sort of there. Inspiration, but yeah, I do like how you can just skip the inks. Like you don't have to do the whole pencil first and then do the ink work second and then you do the colors after. It's so, I mean, it's not a bad technique, but it's not the only technique. Because you have to find a process that just works for you. Number one, it has to be easy, it has to be comfortable, but number two, it has to look good to you, right? So I think for Alexander, they have a good system in place. Like they have a couple of approaches, you know, as to how to get an idea out without taking too long. So in a way, they kind of have a, you know, a good range of styles wherein they can express themselves. Right? Now look at this one. Oh wow. Look at that. Yeah, this one has more of the cut out style. Right? Like you will see it a lot in the face. They could have used like a soft brush or a mixer brush or a blending tool or a smudge tool, but they decided to just paint the change in value sort of by segments, by shapes, right? So it's gonna have a little harsher look, but from afar you kind of can't see it. So it's gonna look smooth from, you know, this kind of view. Line sketch and then the flats. And look at that. Oh, maybe Nataliia paints too. Is a good artist too. Check out Nataliia paints. Super cool. Let's find some more stuff here. Oh, they did some work for Arcane. Pretty cool. I haven't seen the show. I know, it's been a while. I think there's like 2 seasons now, but I don't know, I just don't feel like it. Although the characters, the blue one looks cool anyway, or the blue haired one. But I'm just not too invested in the world. But the fan art is great, so. Oh wow. So cool. I like how they were able to capture the slight, even though there's hardly any texture brushes here, but you can tell you can get the vibe of the texture of these like pants just because of how it's rendered, even though it's mostly like flat shapes on top of flat shapes. Like this one, it has a more metallic, sort of glossy, not glossy, but almost like a latex vibe. You can tell both of these are like jeans, right? First of all, that back pocket, right? But it's just the vibe of it. Pretty cool. The jackets are pretty cool too. Look at that one. Nice tattoo. Not easy. Cool guy. Ooh. A little more painterly here, impressionistic. Look at that. Reminds me of another guy, but yep, I can't remember their name. Let's see the top one maybe. Yeah, this one has a little more narrative in it. Like her eyes are kind of glowing in the shadows. Not sure what the message is here, but it's definitely intriguing, right? Blue skin. I wonder why. So cool. So this one, line sketch. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they just jump into painting immediately. I think they have they're a little more confident maybe in their drawings or in their draftsmanship, and then they once they feel comfortable with the drawing, and then they add in the paints. Because I know some people can do both, where they do the drawing like line work first, and then they start painting, and then they can also do like just paint the thing directly. Very cool. Wait, did we explore this chick? I don't think so. Let me just check this one out. I want to see more of it. Yeah, look at how rough those lines are. And maybe they toned down the opacity a bit, I'm not sure. But it's not as dark. It's more on the brown red side. I think it really blends so well with the skin. I like it. Pretty cool. I mean, yeah, it's sketchy, but it feels complete, and I think it's because of how far they bring the painting, right? The volume is there, the lighting is there, and once you have that, everything else is like just polishing at that point. Maybe Ahmed Aldoori, because I also know it's kind of he's into drawing women or female characters, but also the way he paints, it's kind of sketchy or impressionistic, which I do like. Ahmed Aldoori. You know, I got a comment recently about my commentary. Apparently, it's kind of shallow. Like it's what they said that my art is as shallow as my commentary on my videos. Because I talk about, I often talk about impressionistic styles, feet, so it's kind of shallow. And the drawings I do on my art sessions are not as, I guess, deep as other kinds of artworks. Like it's very like, I mean, I've heard this before. Whenever you do like hot girls, pretty girls, tricks, even cute kawaii like bunnies or whatever, it's not gonna be full of meaning. But like, does it always have to? Because I was watching this video by a different artist. She's an oil painter. She's white from the Midwest, and like I've seen her types before, but I'm so glad she did this video because it was about how your art doesn't always have to have meaning. It can just be like a cool or cute thing. And I think that's something that, you know, I'm kind of against in the art community. It's always about like there's this pretentious side of it that's, you know, it's like your art is not doing like there always has to be like a deep narrative to your work. It can't just be like a cute or a beautiful figure like this where it's like a woman. Right? I mean, there's not much there, but it's pretty cool to look at. Like art can't just be cool. Like it always has to have something else. And I think it's a tiring thing to see in the community, you know. But anyway, whatever. I will link this page of Alexandre Mahboubi here on the in the description below. So they have a couple of links here as well. I think that's DeviantArt and Behance, LinkedIn, Tumblr, I think. Oh, let me see this one too. It's a black and white. Oh, yeah, round brush only. Pretty cool. But look at how you can tell a story already just with these values: black, white, and a gray. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I guess that's it for this. Oh, let me just see this one. This one's pretty cool too. It's like a gun. Yeah, again, they do leave in some, not all, but some of those initial line strokes. Kind of like Loish. Loish does the same thing. Because it's kind of sad too, like all of that work. I mean, I know you're supposed to map things out with lines, and that's kind of the intention. But it just feels sad because some of your initial line strokes do have or look aesthetic as hell. So why not leave some of those in? It doesn't mean you include every line, but there are some strokes that are just gonna look good. So why not leave it in your final? Oh, Hellboy. I'm not sure if he has does he have a kid? But yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, that's it for this art. Oh, I think this one would have to be my favorite just because there's just something about it. Like the mood. Wait, I think it's the same guy. Remember the one in the car? Where is it? I mean, it's this guy too. You have an elf guy in the blue girl. Oh, sorry, that's my page. Right? Like, yeah, she has the afro, so I think this is her. And then you have the elf guy over here with like the ears. And look at how the face was simplified in this view. Pretty cool, right? Look at that. Very impressionistic. Hopefully that doesn't bother you too much, but anyway, yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.